Hey, what's up there, Tour 904, day 37 of the Big Red Van build. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I've been putting this off because I want to make sure everything was done before I put the ceiling up. But I started thinking in the process, how I'm going to mount this ceiling, to the roof skin. And I wanted to have it to where, and I've tried to make the van this way, that if you ever had any issues with anything, whether it be a leak or you needed to repair something, to be able to remove panels without them being just permanently affixed to the van. I see a lot of people gluing their ceiling panels up, and once you glue those up, I mean, you need a crowbar to get those things off, right? So I'm going to try a process today. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I have a lot of hope for it, and I've prepared everything that I think that I can to make sure that it's successful. So I'm using, like I said it before at the very beginning, I'm 6'3", almost 6'3.5". I'm standing completely upright in this van, and I actually have maybe 1/4 of an inch before I hit the ceiling. So I'm actually using 1/4 inch plywood up here. One, saves on weight. Two, it's super thin, so my height is not encumbered on from the ceiling. So because the panel's super light, start doing some research, and I'm actually using a 3M product called Dual Lock. It looks a lot like Velcro, but it's not Velcro, because Velcro, you've got the the fuzzy side on one side and the real sticky side on the other side. This is actually plastic on both sides, and when you put it together and click it together, it's supposed to be like 10 pounds per square inch of holding power. So anyways, but here's the other thing they don't tell you, is that, yeah, these things here can be super holding, right? But how much hold does this 3M double-sided tape on the backside? This I think will hold. The tape with this van heating up, maybe the roof heating up on these beams, I'm not so sure about that. So what I did was I went ahead and installed the ones on the roof first, but I actually, one of two things, I've got some wood in some places here and back here. I actually stapled those in along with the 3M, and then on the metal ones I actually screwed in screws on each end to make sure that it would stay up there and hold. Now on the roof panel, if you see back here, you can see I've already applied these to the back side of the roof panel, and I actually stapled those and used construction panel glue on the back side of each one of those strips. So it's glued on and stapled on. So hopefully if these stay on that ceiling panel and on these joists up here, it should hold it up there. And then I can always come in behind, on some of these edges and maybe put a few screws in just for extra save, to hold it in there maybe a little bit tighter. But anyways, not sure how this is going to work out. So it's kind of a test run. We'll see. If it's a fail, then we'll back up and punt and we'll do something different. No big deal. But I think it's going to work. I've prepared and I feel good about it. So anyways, we'll put this on time lapse and we'll get some of these roof panels up and see where we're at. Before I put those up, I'm going to come back with some great stuff, since I've got most of my electricity run, and go ahead and insulate these beams that I've been kind of holding off on until I made sure I had all my wiring done. So I'm going to do that first, then the panel will come in. So stay tuned. I'll see you on the end, and hopefully it'll be success. Okay guys, so we are in day 2 of the ceiling install. So far everything seems to be working good. The plan is coming together. We've got 2 of the panels on so far. Everything seems to be, pretty tight up there. You'll notice like where these 2 come together, I'm actually going to put a small piece of molding over here to cover this gap up, and then the same thing over here on this side. So we still got 1 panel left to go. Thought we'd do a little video of that. It's been hard in here. If you've noticed, we've got these jacks, and I actually got these from Harbor Freight. They weren't expensive, maybe, I don't know, 15-20 bucks a piece. So I got 4 of them. So when we get the panel in, we get it up here, and then we jack it up, in a few places, nice and tight, everywhere where there's this dual lock in. So every joist has at least 3 spots on it, and then the wood ones have sometimes more than that. But anyways, so far so good. We'll go to the last panel. We're just waiting on each one of the panels on the back side. I put the dual lock on. I put construction glue and staples into the dual lock to hold it to the wood panel, and the same thing on this side. I think I told you before, I put staples in on the wood and actually screwed it into the metal parts. So everything's working good. It's just a matter of getting the other piece in, and then just taking this thing for a test drive and making sure when we're going down the road, bouncing vibrations or anything like that, that nothing is coming down or coming loose. Okay guys, the glue has set on the dual lock for the last roof skin. So I'm going to bring that in here and put it up. Go ahead and get some of these jacks over here ready to go. Oh, one other thing. I may have to make a little bit of a notch in here. So when I get it in here, I'm pretty sure I've got to cut a notch in. Over here, there's one little part over here kind of jumps out a little bit, and I think I'm going to need to cut a little corner in this place. But I'm going to get it in here and take a look at it first, figure out how much I got to cut off. Well, I apologize for that. I got the panel back, cut out this little corner over here, brought it back in to see if it fit. I started fitting it, and the dual lock started locking in, and without even thinking about turning the camera on, I went ahead and put my post up because it was just in the right spot and never hit the camera. So I apologize for that. You didn't get to see it, but so far so good. Just pulling these little wires down right now for the okay guys, so got the last roof panel in, getting ready to hook up my 12 or my little LED lights that run off of DC. I was getting ready to say 12 volt, but they're really not. I think they run like, I guess they are 12 volt. They're only like maybe 3 watts or something like that. I don't know. I should know that off the top of my head. It says on the back. I don't know. Anyways, helpful hint. When you get these, it's just an exposed wire. I went ahead and put little connectors, a male and a female. Male on the red, female on the negative, and so that way, and then I already have these hooked up too. So that way, now when I'm ready to hook these in, all I've got to do is make the proper connections, put my heat shrink on, and always make sure you use heat shrink too, because you hook these in, and it's up in the roof panel, and these things start, vibrating around and touch, they're going to short out. and then you got a light out and probably a whole circuit out. So always make sure you use heat shrink on these to seal them up. I'll show you what I mean if you don't know. Make sure you put it at least over one of the sides to begin with. Okay guys, got the heat shrink on there. I'll do the other three in a minute, but just to finish up for the lights, these are pretty simple. You basically have these two little springs on the side. First you just want to get your filter your wire up here in your hole. I like to put one side in and then just basically bend this spring back. Be careful, these things are kind of fragile. And it just pops right in, the spring loaded, nice and tight. Not the first one to use those in a van, so I'm sure you've seen it before, but in case you never figured out how to, hadn't used one before and wanted to know exactly how they work, that's how it works. Anyway, so I'll put the other three in real quick. And then I'm going to leave these joists up here overnight. Just make sure all that glue is completely set. I'll come in tomorrow and put this trim around where the fan goes in, because I'll need to trim the height of it. But one thing I would like to say, just to finish this thing up, at the very beginning, if you remember, if you've been watching, and that's okay if you hadn't, if you just tuning in now, you can go back and watch them. But at the beginning, I talked about one of the things that, for me, that was important in the van, and I think could be important for guys my size. I'm saying my guys my size, anybody over 6 foot. I'm 6'3½", and I've built this van to save as every little quarter of an inch in both the floor and the ceiling, but yet also put proper amount of insulation to where you're not skimping out. And I've got the ceiling in right now. If I'm standing completely upright, the top of my head is just barely hitting the ceiling. So I've got 6'3" inches of clearance in this van, which is pretty huge. I don't know that I've seen anybody else build one with this height. I'm sure they have. I just hadn't ran across it yet on YouTube. So if you've got a van out there that's got at least 6'3" inches of clearance, at least in a Dodge Promaster. I know the Sprinter makes one that's a little bit taller than this, so you may run into somebody that's built one out in a Sprinter that has a little more headroom. I think it's a Sprinter. It could be the Transit, but I know this is the tallest Promaster that they do make. Anyways, I'm pretty proud of that fact, and hopefully, you know, tall guys like me won't look at a camper van as being, you know, oh, I'm going to be, you know, hunched over all the time when I'm in the van. I'm going to be banging my head. If you're my height, you know you're going to bang your head on anything and everything all the time. It happens. Ask my wife, ask my kids. I got scars on top of my head because I hit my head all the time. Anyways, another story. But anyways, super happy with the way it's turned out so far. I'll do some trim work on this to make it look nice. Hey, let's turn the lights on. See what it looks like. So I've got two switches. This is for the front. Of course, I don't have these hooked up, but you can see this is the front light switch, and then I've got another light switch for the rear. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. You look back there in the back. Now you can see the rear lights are on. Of course, it's daylight, so you know you can't really see how much light is coming off of these things. But we'll do we'll do a night show, and we can see how much, you know, light's actually coming off of the roof. I mean, off the ceiling lights. Anyways, that's it for today. Stick around for tomorrow. We'll be doing something fun and exciting. I don't know what it is yet, but it will be good. Anyways, hey, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for all your comments. Some are questions, some are I got some good suggestions. Can't remember what the gentleman's name was, but gave me a suggestion on the heater that I did yesterday, because it's always drawing power to power this LCD panel. You know, in the summertime, you're not going to be using this heater. And he made a great suggestion, was to put a switch on this, so then, you know, you don't have to have this thing all the time, And I've actually got a switch panel here, and I've got at least one, if not two, switches that I haven't used yet. So I'm going to use that comment or suggestion that he gave me. It was a great one. I really like it. I'm going to use it. So if you've got suggestions on any of my videos and say, hey Dan, you know, you might want to think about this, or try that, or I did this in my van, I'm completely open. I'm just trying to absorb as much information as I can in building this van, and also whenever I'm putting this information back out to you, hopefully I'm giving you good information, maybe stuff you hadn't seen before or you hadn't thought of. I do a lot of research at night on everything that I'm doing, so I'm just trying to share that with the community. And by all means, I am not, like I said, you know, the authority on what needs to be done in a van. I'm just taking other people's things that they've done, try to improve it maybe, or just copy it, one or the other. But anyways, thanks for all the comments. Thanks for subscribing. If you hadn't subscribed, please do. If you have subscribed, think about hitting the bell, because that'll notify you every time we put up a video. This is the end of day 37 or 38. Can't remember now. I have to look on my calendar. Somewhere in there, I think it's 38. But we're on schedule. We're still, you know, at least 20 so days out from the 60 days that I put in for myself. Now that we've got this ceiling in and most of the wiring in, we can start working on the plumbing and the bathroom. Will probably be next. And then we'll start doing some finishing work around the van as well. But stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay guys, so here is the finale to the ceiling install. I've got the little strips on, and just want to do like a quick little scan here. And we're gonna go. Okay guys, I just come back the next day. I got these strips up here covering the cracks. They're basically just stapled in, and then I used silicone caulk on each side to cover up, you know, the little seam. Plus that'll help hold that, you know, to the roof. Like I said before, I made this roof to where if you needed to take it down, you could. So to take it down, you'd actually take these down. They're just stapled in, so it's not anything too severe. You probably run a razor down the edge just to cut the silicone, and then once you pull, you know, these two basically molding strips off, then each one of these panels are still held up there just basically by the dual lock. There are a couple behind here. I did put a couple wood screws along the seam, one on each end and one in the middle, just to help, you know, hold that dual lock in place so it doesn't, you know, come loose. But I think it's going to be good. I still haven't done a test drive yet. I got some stuff going on, you know, here in the van where I can't really move it at this time. But as soon as I get, you know, things more squared away, then I can take it on a test drive, you know, and check it out. And I'll do that before I put the siding up, because I need to know, you know, if I'm going to have an issue. But the great thing is that if you had to take these panels down, you could without a lot of, you know, major deconstruction, I guess we should say. But anyways, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I'm going to start working on the bathroom here pretty soon. So that'll be next.